"You're lying." Her voice came out steadier than she felt, standing in the penthouse of the man she'd loved for 3 years. The man whose empire she'd helped build from nothing. The man who was now telling her it was over. Marcus Hale didn't even flinch. His jaw was set, those steel-gray eyes that used to soften when they looked at her now cold as January rain. "I never loved you, Olivia. You were useful, that's all." Useful? The word stabbed through her chest. She'd given him everything. Her PR strategies had transformed his failing tech company into a billion-dollar empire. Her connections had opened doors he couldn't even knock on. Her sleepless nights, her brilliant campaigns, her heart. "The merger with Chen Industries," she whispered, realization dawning like poison in her veins. "You only stayed with me to get access to my father's company." His silence was answer enough. But what if she'd seen this coming? What if some part of her had known and refused to believe it? She turned toward the elevator, her Laubautins clicking against the floor like a countdown. 3 years. 3 years of I love yous that meant nothing. 3 years of building him up while he planned to tear her down. The elevator doors opened and she stepped inside. But just before they closed, Marcus called out, "The board meeting tomorrow. Don't come. You're no longer welcome at Hale Technologies." The company she'd named, the logo she'd designed, the reputation she'd crafted from scandal and near bankruptcy. Her phone buzzed. A message from an unknown number. "He thinks he's won. He hasn't. Meet me at Pier 7 midnight. Come alone if you want the truth." Olivia stared at the screen. Her hands were shaking, but not from weakness, from rage, from betrayal that felt like acid in her bloodstream. Who could possibly know what just happened, unless someone had been watching? She shouldn't go. Every instinct screamed danger. But another instinct, quieter and sharper, whispered something else: revenge. The pier was abandoned at midnight, fog rolling off the water like ghosts of shipwrecks past. Olivia wrapped her coat tighter, scanning the darkness. This was insane. She should call someone. But who? Marcus had systematically isolated her from everyone she cared about over the past year, and she'd been too blind to see it. "You came." The voice emerged from shadow, and then he did too. Dante Rivera, Marcus's former business partner. The man who'd been forced out of Hale Technologies 2 years ago amid whispers of embezzlement and fraud. The man whose reputation Marcus had destroyed. "Why am I here?" Olivia demanded, even as her mind raced. Dante looked different than she remembered. Harder, hungrier, dangerous in a way that should have terrified her but somehow didn't. "Because Marcus Hale is a liar, a thief, and a manipulator." Dante stepped closer. "And because I've spent 2 years gathering proof, but I needed one thing I didn't have." "What?" "Someone he betrayed who's angry enough to help me take him down." Olivia laughed, sharp and bitter. "You want to use me just like he did." "No." Dante's eyes locked on hers, and she saw something there she hadn't expected. Pain. Real, raw pain that mirrored her own. "I want to give you justice. Everything Marcus took from you, from me, from dozens of others. He's a monster, Olivia, and I have proof." "What proof?" Dante pulled out a tablet, swiped through files. "Marcus didn't just use you to get to Chen Industries. He's been planning a hostile takeover of your father's company for 8 months. Those business trips to Singapore. He was meeting with your family's competitors. That investment opportunity he convinced your father to sign last month. It gives Marcus controlling interest the second the merger finalizes." The world tilted. Her father. God, her father had trusted Marcus because she'd vouched for him. No, he wouldn't. "There's more." Dante's voice dropped. "The embezzlement charges against me, Marcus fabricated them. He needed me out so he could restructure the company and erase evidence of his real crimes. Corporate espionage, insider trading, fraud on a scale that would put him away for decades." "Why are you telling me this?" "Because tomorrow morning, Marcus is announcing his engagement to Senator Whitmore's daughter, the same senator who chairs the Commerce Committee. Once he has that political protection, he's untouchable. Engagement. The word hit like a physical blow. How long has he been seeing her? Dante's expression softened with something like pity. 18 months. While telling Olivia he loved her, while sleeping in her bed, while planning her family's destruction. But what if Dante was lying too? What if this was another game, another manipulation? "Why should I trust you?" she asked. "You shouldn't." Dante's honesty startled her. "But you don't have to trust me, you just have to trust the evidence. And you have to decide, do you walk away and let him win or do you fight back?" Olivia stared at the files on the screen. Bank transfers, emails, recorded phone calls. If this was real, Marcus hadn't just betrayed her. He'd committed crimes that could destroy him. "What do you want me to do?" Dante smiled, and it wasn't kind. "I want you to go to that board meeting tomorrow, and I want you to burn his empire to the ground." The Hale Technologies boardroom gleamed with wealth and power. Olivia walked in at exactly 9 a.m., her red dress a declaration of war. The shocked faces turned toward her were satisfying, but nothing compared to Marcus's expression when he saw her. "Olivia," his voice carried warning, "I told you not to come." "Did you?" She sat in her usual chair. "I must have forgotten. You know how forgetful I am. Like how I forgot to mention to the board that I still own 15% of this company." His face paled. She made him give her shares early in their relationship, when he was desperate for her help. He'd probably forgotten they were in her name, not his. "This is a closed meeting," he said. "Actually," came a new voice from the doorway, "Ms. Chen has every right to be here." Olivia's heart stopped. Her father walked in, followed by his attorney. What was he doing here? "Mr. Chen," Marcus recovered quickly, extending his hand. "This is unexpected." "Is it?" Her father's voice was ice. "My daughter called me at 3 a.m. with some very interesting information. We've been reviewing documents ever since." The board members exchanged confused glances. Marcus's jaw tightened. "I don't know what Olivia told you, but—" "She told me you've been planning a hostile takeover of Chen Industries using my own daughter as your inside source." Her father's eyes could have cut glass. "She told me the investment deal you presented was designed to give you controlling interest. She told me you're a fraud." "That's absurd." But Marcus's voice wavered. "Is it?" Olivia stood, pulling out her own tablet. Dante had given her copies of everything. "Should we discuss your meeting with Wang Technologies on August 3rd, or the classified Chen Industries documents found on your private server? Or perhaps we should talk about how you framed Dante Rivera to cover your own crimes?" The room erupted, board members talking over each other, Marcus's face shifting from pale to red. And then, "Enough!" The voice came from the back of the room, and Olivia froze. Dante walked in, but he wasn't alone. Behind him was Senator Whitmore herself, her face granite hard. And beside her, looking absolutely terrified, was her daughter Jessica. "Ms. Whitmore," Marcus stood, confusion breaking through his mask. "Jessica, what are you?" "Tell them," Dante said to Jessica quietly. "Tell them the truth." Jessica's voice shook. "He threatened me. Marcus threatened to release private photos if I didn't agree to the engagement. He said he'd destroy my father's career." The bottom fell out of the room. Marcus lunged forward. "That's a lie, she's lying." Dante got to her. FBI. Two agents appeared at the door, badges out. "Marcus Hale, you're under arrest for securities fraud, corporate espionage, extortion, and conspiracy to commit fraud." As they read him his rights, Marcus's eyes found Olivia's. She saw the calculation there, the desperate search for an angle. "Olivia, please, you love me. Tell them this is a mistake." She walked up to him slowly. Let him see her face. Let him see that the woman he'd betrayed was the one who'd destroyed him. "I did love you. That was real. But you know what else is real? The evidence I've spent the last 6 hours delivering to the FBI, the SEC, and the Attorney General's office. You couldn't have, his voice cracked, you didn't have access. Actually, Dante stepped forward, she did. Turns out the senior PR executive you kept logged into your system had access to everything. Every file, every email, every piece of evidence you thought was hidden. Marcus's face went white. You planned this, both of you. No, Olivia said softly. You planned this. We just made sure you failed. As they led him away in handcuffs, Olivia felt her legs start to shake. The adrenaline was crashing, the reality hitting. 3 years of her life with a monster, but she'd survived. She fought back. Ms. Chen, her father touched her shoulder gently. Let's go home. In a minute, Dad. She turned to find Dante, but he was already walking toward the elevator. Dante, wait. He stopped, turned. His expression was unreadable. Why did you really help me? She asked. Was it just about revenge? For a long moment he didn't answer. Then, I told you, Marcus destroyed my life, but that wasn't the only reason. What was the other reason? 2 years ago at the company holiday party there was this moment. You were standing by the window laughing at something and the light caught your face just right. And I thought, he stopped, shook his head. I thought she deserves better than him, even then, even when I barely knew you. Olivia's breath caught. You're saying? I'm saying I've spent 2 years putting together a case not just to clear my name, but to save yours. I'm saying when I got proof of what Marcus was planning, my first thought wasn't revenge. It was you. Dante. But I'm also saying you just got out of a relationship built on lies and manipulation. The last thing you need is another man telling you what to do or how to feel. He smiled, sad and genuine. So I'm going to walk away, and if you ever want to talk, really talk, you have my number. He turned toward the elevator again. Dante Rivera. Olivia's voice stopped him. You're a fool if you think I'm letting you walk away after you just said that. He turned back, hope flickering in his eyes. But you're right about one thing, she continued. I'm not ready for a relationship. I'm not ready to trust anyone. I'm probably not going to be ready for a very long time. His face fell and she felt the ache in her own chest, but she pushed forward. However, she said, I could use a friend, a real one, someone who doesn't want anything from me except honesty. Think you can handle that? The smile that spread across his face was worth every risk. I can handle that. Good. She walked over to him, stopped close enough to see the gold flecks in his dark eyes. Because I have a feeling that once I'm healed, once I remember who I am without Marcus's poison, I'm going to want to explore whatever this is between us. But I need time first. I'll wait, he said simply. What if it takes years? Then it takes years. His hand came up, hovering near her face but not touching, asking permission. She nodded and his fingers brushed her cheek so gently it felt like a promise. You're worth waiting for, Olivia Chen. 2 years later, Olivia stood in the same boardroom. But this time, she was CEO of Chen Technologies, the newly reformed company that had absorbed the ethical parts of Hale Technologies and transformed them into something better, something honest. Dante sat beside her as COO, his reputation fully cleared, his name restored. They'd rebuilt together slowly. Coffee meetings that turned into dinners, dinners that turned into walks through the city at midnight, walks that turned into stolen kisses that felt like coming home. Ready? He asked, squeezing her hand under the table. Ready, she confirmed. They'd called this meeting to announce their engagement. Not a business arrangement, not a strategic move, just two people who'd found each other in the wreckage and built something real. As they made the announcement, Olivia felt Dante's hand in hers and knew. Betrayal had broken her, but she'd used those broken pieces to build something stronger, someone stronger. And when he kissed her in front of the entire board, when she heard the applause and saw her father's proud smile, She finally understood what love was supposed to feel like. Not a cage, not a manipulation, not useful. Just real, just right, just theirs. Marcus was serving 15 years in federal prison. Jessica Whitmore had become an advocate for revenge porn victims. Olivia's father's company was thriving. And Olivia was free. And she was choosing, every single day, to be happy. Not because someone else made her happy, but because she'd saved herself. And then, when she was whole again, she'd chosen to share that happiness with someone who'd waited for her. Someone who'd loved her enough to let her heal. Someone who'd never asked her to be useful. Just loved,